Democrats will wrap up their opening arguments today in the impeachment trial of President Trump, and their focus is obstruction. The Hannibal Board of Public Works comprises 4 members appointed by the city manager. Now, former board president Lenny Rosencrans resigned last month, citing personal reasons. Tonight, all 3 appointed members must be present for a quorum to be declared. New tonight at 10, as temperatures will continue to drop throughout the night. Road crews from across the tri-states will be out monitoring trouble spots on area roadways. David, here's what we know. Applicants for this job have been interviewed by local officials. Now, this has happened over the past few months. The former director, Steve Rollins, retired this past July. We begin KHQA News at 10 with tonight's weather maker. A 1-2 punch of winter weather, which could add to dangerous conditions for tri-state drivers if temps continue to drop overnight. KHQA meteorologist Rachel Myers is tracking it all for you in the Weather Center. Rachel, what can you tell us? I'm excited to finally see some sunshine tomorrow.
We need to see some sunshine.
And so what can the sunshine kind of do for that remaining snow that might be on the grassy areas?
Yeah, so we saw 2 to 4 inches of snow throughout the tri-states, so it's going to melt a little bit tomorrow. And then when those temperatures dip below freezing, we're going to see ice again. So stepping outside, you got to look out for ice, especially on those sidewalks and roadways as well.
Thanks so much, Rachel.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after the break. The Iowa caucuses are just 3 days away. KHQA is working for you to break down how the process works and what's changing for the 2020 election. KHQA State House reporter Caroline Cummings reports. That's right, Raja. An unnamed union member tells me that 88% of union members voted down NAPID's contract offer. And I'm KHQA's Lynsey Whitaker, live with a crowd of indoor trick-or-treaters. Coming up a little bit later in the newscast, I'll tell you where I'm at and how you can get involved before the time runs out. KHQA News at 6 starts now. I'm on Benton Street here in Camden, and as you can see and hear behind me, work continues on the Camden United Methodist Church as crews are working to put out what is still smoldering here. And here to join me now, come on in here, Chief, and we'll talk to you. There's some hot spots up there that you're concerned about.
Yes, there is. There's some hot spots up in that attic, and we're trying to cut into the structure, like you said, was old, and it's got 2 or 3 ceilings, and we're trying to get above them to get into the fire.
It's just unbelievable what has happened.
There have been some tears. This has been the only church that some of these people have had ever went to.
Almost 50 people gather here at Camden United Methodist Church every Sunday, including Leela Allen.
I've been here all my life.
Allen says she was baptized and married here, remaining heavily involved through church activities. So much that
We were just coming around, driving around to check on the church steps that they were being replaced, just to see the progress and things. And when we got here, Barbara, our neighbor, had just called the fire department because she had seen the first signs of smoke.
Rushville Fire Chief Vic McNeely says 3 departments were called in to assist.
You know, it's been remodeled several times. The ceiling, you know, we had 2 ceilings to go through to get up into the attic, and that's why we're on the roof now, ventilating and going in after it that direction.
Crews fought for almost an hour and a half to get the blaze under control. In that fight, something special from the altar was recovered.
To see that Bible come out, to know that God's words are in there and that not even fire can destroy that.
As fire officials focus on what caused the fire, churchgoers focus on their spirit.
The building doesn't make the church, the people do, and there's wonderful people that have been here in support.
And regardless of the devastation,
That's our life, our church family life, but that's not going to be the end of it. We're already making plans of what we're going to do Sunday.
Adam McCain sat emotionless in his chair as a judge denounced a guilty first-degree murder verdict Thursday.
The defendant had time to ponder and deliberate between the first stabbing and the second stabbing.
Lee County State's Attorney Ross Braden says a 911 call played a crucial role in the case.
The confession, Caleb Sackman's dying words, who did this to you, Adam McCain? But yeah, the confession was huge.
McCain also confessed to law enforcement. McCain was sentenced to life in prison without parole following Thursday's verdict, but not before Sackman's mother and sister provided emotional victim impact statements.
I have a 2-year-old that looks identical to her mom when her mom was that age. And when I look at her, I go back 25 years. And some days that's a blessing, And some days that's the hardest thing I can do.
Sackman's oldest son wrote a letter for McCain that was read in court.
You hurt my feelings, and you hurt me by taking my mom away. I'm so angry at you for hurting me.
McCain spoke to the family before walking out of the courtroom.
But I didn't intend for this to happen. I love Kayla very much. I wasn't thinking. I would do anything if I could take her place. So, very sorry.
Words that did not appease Braden.
A vicious attack. It was senseless, and now 4 children are growing up without a mom. Somebody lost their daughter, somebody lost their sister. It's absolutely terrible. There's no getting that person back for these individuals, but at least he's going to go to prison for the rest of his life.
Sackman's mother says while the guilty verdict provides some peace of mind,
It doesn't move on for us. It doesn't change anything from that date. Nothing will ever be the same.
Right, Raja, high river waters could impact the eastbound driving lanes on Highway 24 on the Memorial Bridge, which leads into Quincy. Will we get more rain? Will we get less rain? When will these waters recede? Everybody's asking those questions right now. The National Weather Service predicts the Mississippi River will rise to about 29 feet by tomorrow. I can tell you just in the short amount of time that I've been here, just where I'm standing, I notice water starting to come closer to my feet. Not to make the same mistake she did just yesterday.
I came up to what I thought was just a little bit of water over the road.
It seemed like a typical Wednesday morning for Kate Doherty. She was on her way home from grocery shopping in Quincy, but her trip took a dangerous and quick turn for the worse.
There was a perfectly dry patch right in front of me, and so when I went to make my turn, I dropped a tire off the road. In dropping a tire off my road, the water pushed me totally off the road, which ended me up in a ditch.
Doherty has traveled back roads in Taylor, Missouri for more than 45 years.
Well, when you live in the sticks and you've gone down a certain road your whole life, you're thinking, I'm just going to do what I've always done.
The Fabius River has spilled out of its banks, flooding roads and farm fields across the area.
Once I got in the ditch and realized that suddenly the water was coming up, I mean, you're talking, I grabbed my purse, I grabbed my wallet. I sat on top, I think, for about 45 minutes.
Stuck in nearly 6 feet of water, Doherty said many things raced through her head during the time she waited on top of her car.
You don't want to end up in a situation where you're hanging onto a tree. And so, yeah, because it was like, how much faster is this water going to go up and what's exactly going to happen here?
A neighbor and first responders showed up to help Doherty, who now has a message for you.
You know, I'm grateful for getting my vehicle out, but I think most importantly is just being aware that for whatever reason this season is kind of crazy.
We brought in 100 tons of sand, and it's on standby right now. We picked up 100 rolls of polyurethane today that we will use to cover this with.
Jersey barriers will sit on top of the levees in downtown.
We'll have to sandbag the plastic on both sides, the poly, once we put it across the top of the Jersey barriers that will be setting up on top of the levee.
The highest crest level in Hannibal came in 1993 at 31.80 feet. The second highest in 2008 at 29.54. The 1973 flood came in at 28.59 feet. Saturday's estimated crest is 28.8 feet, which would make it the third largest flood in history. And as we say goodnight to everybody at home, wow, that's such a really large Snickers bar.
My favorite story that she put in the show tonight, so enjoy that.
We will send it to overtime with Chris Doerr, but first, up next, Rachel, it may not feel like spring quite yet, but spring training will soon be approaching, and tons of St. Louis Cardinal fans turned out to meet some of their favorite players at Hannibal LaGrange University tonight. KHQA's Kendall Hyde stopped by the event and spoke with the players and fans. Good night.